Whether you're just hoping to stock up on some staples for the winter or gather supplies for a bomb shelter, you can't go wrong with these pantry items that won't go bad for a very long time. Plenty of people are more than happy to let you know that they can't get through the day without their coffee, and luckily for them, there's a form of Java that can last through just about anything. Yes, instant coffee that's stashed in a cool, dry place and sealed tight as a drum can last up to 2 decades. In fact, coffee in general has a pretty good shelf life. If you've ever looked at a bag of unground coffee beans, you'll notice there's a best by or good until date. That date is usually several months out from when they were produced. In practice, unground coffee beans in the right conditions can last for up to 30 months. And when it does eventually go bad, coffee doesn't become rotten. It just begins to taste stale the older it gets. Light, moisture, and heat seem to be its undoing, particularly if the coffee is in ground form. That's ground, but not instant, just to clarify. Regular ground coffee tends to only last weeks rather than months or years.
Nothing worse than bad coffee.
Bags of tea are great to put in a care package for faraway friends. Few things refresh quite as well as a hot cup on a cold afternoon. And tea lasts so long that it'll still be good even if the care package gets lost in the mail for a year. Most tea tastes fresh for at least 2 years in the right circumstances. Floral teas have the shortest shelf life at only 3 months. Black tea lasts the longest at 2 years. And the tea doesn't have to be in bags. Loose-leaf teas also have a long shelf life, provided that they've been tucked away in a cool, dry, and dark place. With the exception of nut teas, most teas don't go bad to the point where they taste rancid. They just lose some of their refreshing quality because of staleness. To keep tea fresh, invest in a container that's solely intended for tea storage. Repeated exposure to air makes the leaves break down, so if you're saving your teas for special occasions, put them away in their own containers until you're ready to drink them. Dried beans can last for up to 30 whole years, but like anything else, you've got to store them right. On average, dried beans that have not been exposed to moisture or pests last 2 to 3 years. At the 5-year mark, most beans lose their nutritional value. You can eat them, but they'll only fill your tummy. Nutritionally, they're basically a zero. Proper storage plays a key role in how long dried beans can last. If they are sealed in Mylar bags or airtight cans void of oxygen, finding them just fine to eat at the 10-year mark isn't unheard of. A Brigham Young University study revealed that dried beans that had sat cooling on a shelf for around 30 years still passed muster with 80% of a consumer taste group. The group gave the beans, pintos in this case, the thumbs up as a food that can stick it out admirably in long-term storage and still come out edible. People who buy food in bulk call it shopping their pantries. The idea is that they'll be ready so that instead of needing to take a last-minute trip to the grocery store to come up with something for dinner, they can open their pantry doors, pull out something like pasta, and whip up dinner. Home cooks often love this option because even if the pasta has been in its container for 6 months or so, they know that it's still good to go. The reason why is simple. Most dried pastas have only about 12% moisture, making them shelf-stable for the long haul. Such low water content acts as a barrier against mold and bacteria that require more moisture to thrive. Dried pasta lasts for up to 3 years if it's stored in a cool, dry place, though 2 years is the average. Egg noodles are the exception. Their egg content makes them more likely to go rancid. It's also worth noting that the area where you live makes a difference. If you live in the rainforest around Forks, Washington, for example, using a silica packet will help keep your pasta safe from moisture. In drier climates, though, the regular precautions to keep food safe should be just fine.
And it's safe?
Yep. Dried pasta lasts a few years. Same with the beans.
Oatmeal is the stick-to-your-ribs breakfast that people have turned to for centuries when they needed something nutritious and hearty to start their day. And though they won't last centuries, steel-cut oats are also a pretty ideal long-term pantry item. They'll hold up for around 2 years if you tuck them into an airtight container and keep them out of sunlight and heat. Commercial oats get steamed during processing, which enables them to sit on the shelves for a while. Oats that don't get the steam bath only last around 4 months, so if you want them to last a long time, make sure they did. Some varieties of oats get flavorful additions, such as dried fruit or milk. These add-ons add to or detract from the oats' shelf life too. There's a pretty easy way to tell if you can still eat your oats past their best-by date, which indicates quality and not rancidity. If the oats smell bad, like they're moldy, toss them. If they're not loaded with moisture and otherwise seem to be in good shape, you can most likely eat them with no problem. When King Tut's tomb was opened in 1922, excavators found all kinds of treasures. Some would say the jewels and gold were the biggest finds, but food nerds would definitely point to the 3,000-year-old honey. The brave, or perhaps reckless, archaeologists who found Tut's honey gave it a taste, and to their delight, discovered that it tasted just as good as any other. Foods that have a 30-year shelf life may get people's respect, but honey deserves their awe. It's one food that truly never goes bad, owing to its acidic pH and low water content. Over time, its color darkens, and it takes on a more sugary texture, but it's still okay to eat. Honey also has healing and antibacterial properties that people have used as medicine for millennia. Its infinite shelf life and health benefits may be why Tut's tomb had stashes of it alongside all those other treasures. During the War of 1812, the USS Constitution set sail with rations to last the crew of nearly 500 men their entire months-long deployment. Among the rations were 1,316 gallons of rice, a testament to rice's almost indefinite shelf life. People in the days before commercial refrigeration relied on rice's longevity to keep them alive, especially when they were out to sea or otherwise unable to resupply in short order. People still rely on rice's long shelf life to create a pantry that lasts the test of time. That said, not all rice is created equal. Brown rice only lasts up to 18 months because it contains a lot of natural oils, which make it go bad faster. Uncooked white rice, however, has an indefinite shelf life.
White rice, brown rice, those are just some of the rices I love.
Like many other foods, white rice's shelf stability can be affected by heat, moisture, and contaminants like dust or pests. And once it's cooked, it'll only last a couple of days in the fridge. If you freeze it, it'll be good to go for a couple of months. But even then, cooked frozen white rice has nowhere near the shelf life of dried, uncooked rice. It's hard to miss when liquid milk goes bad after a few weeks in the fridge, but make that milk into a powder, and it lasts an astonishingly long time. Most powdered milk manufacturers set powdered milk's best-by date at around 18 months. But low-fat powdered milk in particular has been known to go the distance, lasting anywhere from 2 to 10 years. In survivalist circles, there is said to be powdered milk that will still be drinkable a quarter of a century after it's made. All of this happens, of course, if the milk gets stored properly. By now, you know where. In a cool, dry place that's out of direct light and low on oxygen. It's worth noting, though, that just because you can drink some powdered milk after it's been sitting on the shelf for 25 years doesn't mean you should. The stability of the vitamins goes downhill after 6 months, and its taste goes out the window then, too. Pancakes with maple syrup taste like childhood on a fork, and even if you're well into adulthood, that syrup you used when you were a kid could still be good today. That is, if there was some left in the bottle. That's true for much the same reason as honey's longevity. It's low moisture and high sugar makeup. Maple syrup can last a very long time, provided that it's treated with some TLC before it's hidden away on a shelf. Keeping the jar sealed and unopened in a cool, dark place is a good start. It should also not see the sunlight, or it'll start to deteriorate. It can develop mold on the top if it's not stored correctly. Some suggest wiping off the mold, making the syrup edible once again, but if you're not brave enough to try this, it's probably best just to put the maple syrup in the freezer once it's open so that no mold has a chance to develop. And just so we're clear, we're talking real maple syrup from maple trees here, not the corn syrup-based stuff often just called pancake syrup. Salt has huge historical significance. In addition to being a crucial food preservative, it was also once a form of currency. It's even the root word of celery. Salt's role as a food preservative is indicative of its lengthy shelf life. Anything that makes meat or vegetables last in storage without refrigeration for sometimes years on end must itself last a long time. And indeed, it does. Plain salt without any additives, like iodine or other seasonings, has no expiration date. Salt, with the addition of anti-clumping agents, lives on shelves for about 3 to 5 years. Water or pests can ruin it, just like most other pantry staples. Even pink Himalayan lasts nearly forever and a day, but given how often home chefs use salt in cooking, it's less likely to last for 5 years on a shelf. But not because it's gone bad. Like salt, sugar draws out moisture. It's why you get so thirsty after eating all that Halloween candy, which in turn stops bacterial growth. No moisture equals no bacteria. You can even preserve pickles with it. It's one of the reasons, besides just being downright delish, that chefs coat strawberries and other fruit with a layer of sugar. It impedes bacterial growth via osmosis. The water from the fruit gets pulled from its insides to its outsides, and sugar is the agent that makes it happen. This is also why that bag of sugar in your cupboard keeps going and going. excess moisture can make it clump, but it has no official expiration date, particularly if it's sealed well against pests, moisture, and outside odors. If you want an exact number, 2 years is a good time frame to shoot for. Powdered sugar and brown sugar have the same kind of staying power, for the record.
At last, the sugar bowl is mine!
If you want to know when vinegar goes bad, you'll have to ask the ancients. You can find traces of vinegar in old clay jars reaching back to cultures that went extinct millennia ago. While those civilizations didn't last, their vinegar did. A testament to just how hardy this kitchen staple is. Acetic acid makes vinegar stable, and while some vinegar may lose its acidic edge over time, it won't go rancid. Vinegar comes about as a result of fermentation, which gives it the kind of shelf life that allows it to last in ancient clay jars for centuries, or in your pantry for years. Like most store-bought products today, vinegar does come with a best-by date, but this just indicates peak freshness and taste from the manufacturer's point of view, and usually goes to about 2 years away from the production date, but it'll basically never go rancid. Condiments can survive just about anything, making them one of the most shelf-stable types of food around. From mustard to soy sauce, this is pretty much true across the board. This is because condiments are largely made of other long-lasting foodstuffs, namely vinegar, salt, and sugar. Some condiments, like soy sauce or Worcestershire sauce, combine both shelf-stable ingredients and fermentation as part of their manufacturing process. Those with the longest expiration date include mustard, with a shelf life of 3 years, fish sauce with a shelf life of 4 years, and hot sauce with a shelf life of 5 years. Worcestershire sauce is thought to last indefinitely, though others will say it only lasts 3 months. Most condiments can remain on the pantry shelf after you open them for several months without any ill effects.